Now, as a nanotechnologist, do you see evidence for God at a microscopic level? And if so, could you share that with us?
Well, I don't know how to build anything that's like the complexity of a cell.
Yeah.
And I look at biology and I say, Lord, this is utterly amazing, utterly amazing. And people think that the origin of life is well understood. It is not, it is not, it is not. You ask anybody who understands this. If I gave you all the basic components, if I gave you the DNA, the RNA, if I gave you the lipids and the carbohydrates, could you take these base components? I'm not asking you to make this like early Earth would have to, from ammonia and carbon dioxide and formaldehyde. I'm giving you all of these. Could you assemble a cell? Anybody who knows the business would say, no, I can't do that. I mean, it is so utterly, utterly complex. So we don't know the origin of life. We don't know how there's been an evolution of a complex system. Just to say that there's been point mutations little by little and these things have changed is not an explanation. You've got to give me an explanation on how you go from A to B. You got to show chemical structures. You got to be able to explain these things. And biology is utterly amazing. So in this, I see God. Now, some people look at this and they don't see God. Right. But I say, could you assemble anything like this? It's no. We can see small changes in the lab. We do it all the time. I mean, we work with superbacteria. These things are changing all the time, and you see natural selection taking place right before your eyes. But the bacteria stay a bacteria. The bacteria stay bacteria. That's what they do. I mean, and they don't morph into some higher order structure. And so I see God in this. I see His hand. But when I just speak in the scientific realms, I don't speak like that. I just say, look at how complex this is. And all I can say is that as scientists, we are utterly clueless on how these things came about.
Because when I studied A-level biology, which I guess would be college level biology.
No, 16 to 18 years old.
16 right? to 18, yeah.
Yeah, that's our high school.
That's your high school? Okay.
Yes.
So when we were being taught A-level biology, we were taught the Miller-Urey experiment in 1952 about how and the origin of life, how it began in a murky puddle with lots of lightning strikes. And we were taught this. And I could remember asking my teacher after the lesson, do you believe it really happened this way? And he turned around and he said, no, there's no possibility it could have happened this way. And I asked him, why then do you teach this? He said, it's because it's part of the syllabus. I have to teach it. It's my job. Why? And he wasn't a man of faith. He wasn't a religious man. Why are teachers having to teach this?
Well, it's not just your A-level teachers.
Right.
I mean, I did it. I went on Justin Brierley's program and spoke with Lee Cronin because I had to get on there because the program before that I wasn't on, Lee Cronin was saying what you learned in your high school. He said to Justin Brierley was correct, that we did come from a primordial soup. And then when I challenged him on it, I said, how can you say that? We have no idea that happened. And so when I challenge them with it, it's very different. So if the man or the woman on the street brings a challenge, they say, tell me about the primordial soup. Tell me about how those amino acids came together, those racemic mixtures of amino acids. Tell me about how that happened. There is no understanding about how that could happen. All the lightning strikes you want. And why? It's not just your A-level teachers. It is actually in the university, it is pervasive of teaching this thing. Even in the universities, even people like Lee Cronin that work in the area of origin of life are saying, no, that's pretty accurate, until they're challenged on this. We have absolutely no idea why they keep suggesting this. I have no idea why they keep doing this. Maybe because they don't want to say we're utterly clueless on life's origin, which is a much better explanation.
Do you think it's because it's the only naturalistic explanation that they have?
I don't even think it's a naturalistic explanation. It's a fairy tale. It is a fairy tale. Okay. There are naturalistic explanations that you can start putting chemical structures behind and say maybe this happened and maybe that happened. But there's not even that. This is a fairy tale. It goes into storytelling. And biologists are the best storytellers. You ask them how this occurred, and they start telling you a story. You say, well, that couldn't have happened because this can't. Oh, and then within a nanosecond, they have another story. It's just. Could you tell stories like this? But it is acceptable in origin of life and in evolution of a complex system.